Hello, my name is Adrian and this is a series of videos devoted to the basics of SQL. This time, we are going to give you an introduction to subqueries, a very powerful tool when creating SQL queries. Are you ready? Let's get started then. Take a look at the table, which we are presenting on the screen right now. It's named Subject and it presents selected subjects offered at an imaginary university. Each subject has a title, the information about the faculty which offers the subject, and the average rating provided by the students. Let's say we now want to find all courses which are offered in the same faculty as Intro to Algebra. How can we do that? Normally, we would have to write two queries. First, we find out the name of the faculty which offers Intro to Algebra, with the query you can now see on the screen. We simply retrieve the column Faculty for the subject named Intro to Algebra. Alright, the query result suggests that the faculty name is Math. We need to remember this value because we'll need it in the second query. In the second query, we use the faculty name which we found in the first query. We now select all rows where the faculty name equals Math. We got 3 rows in the resulting set, which you can see on the screen right now. The trick with using two queries worked, and we found all the subjects offered by the same faculty as Intro to Algebra. But that was a lot of typing and we had to break down the procedure into 2 steps. With subqueries, we'll be able to receive the same results with just one query. How do we do that? Let's find out. Again, take a look at both queries we had to use to find all subjects offered by the faculty which also offers Intro to Algebra. Now we'll try to merge them into a single query using a subquery. A subquery in SQL is introduced with a pair of brackets. We'll take the second query, but instead of the Math faculty in the work clause, we'll write a subquery. So we get rid of the Math text value and put a pair of empty brackets after the equals sign. Now, inside the brackets, we paste the first query without the semicolon at the end. And that's it! Our first subquery is ready. If we now run the query with the subquery, we should still see 3 rows, just like we did previously. This time, however, we only had to run a single query. That's the power behind subqueries. Note that in this case, we were looking for a single value, returned from the subquery. It's very important that the subquery does not return more than one value. If that was the case, we would get an error in our SQL instruction. We'll talk about subqueries which return more than one value in a future video. Let's analyze one more example. Again, we've got our subject table with 3 columns: title, faculty, and rating. This time, we want to find all courses which have a rating value higher than the average rating among all subjects. In other words, we'll have to calculate the average rating for the whole table and then find all subjects with a higher rating value. And we'll do that in a single query. We'll start by writing a query which should select all rows with a rating value higher than a value named X. You can see the query on the screen now. This is the first step in writing our final query. Now, in the second step, we need to replace X with a subquery, so we'll put an empty pair of brackets instead of X first. Now, inside the brackets, we need to provide our subquery. The subquery should find the average rating value. We'll use select average from subject. Now, if we run the final query, we will get the resulting rows. We can now see all the subjects with an above average rating value, even though we don't know what the average actually is. This is the true power behind subqueries. We don't need multiple steps to answer more complicated business questions. So, these were the basics of SQL subqueries. In the future videos, we'll take a look at some more advanced examples. Until then, subscribe to our channel and let's learn SQL together.